Okay, we'll bring the meeting to order. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. William Henderson, will you please lead us in the invocation, please, sir? Pastor of the First Baptist Church.
Okay, I wanted to preface my prayer just so I don't end up with a brief token prayer to begin this gathering. I'd like to preface my prayer with just a bit of a rehearsal of some of the rich blessings we have, so we can shake our heads together and think about and muse over a little bit about everything that we share and all the joys we have of the great, great rich blessings that we have in this area. First of all, we have a glorious area of mountains and streams available to all, with broad skies overhead and good clean air. A lot to be thankful for. We have good citizens, fine neighborhoods, and little crime, and almost no threats of real public menace. We have responses to the needs of our troubled people who don't have those opportunities. We have great schools and energetic and committed teachers who love and are really devoted to our students. We have good athletics and wonderful community recreation. Swannanoa Valley Christian Ministry and all of its piles of volunteers, counseling centers, and a lot of community service opportunities and organizations. And we have amazing talent. We have amazing talent. We have music and the arts, fine arts, small businesses, great visionary leaders, and we have a wonderful host of public servants. And we have healthy churches with big hearts, people who care and who serve, and then we are known for the spirituality that we attract to this area. We have Montreat and Ridgecrest and Blue Ridge Assembly, Christ Mount, Montreat College, and all the camps for boys and girls. And may we never act because of all that we have. May we never act from greed for more, because we have it all. We have it all right here and right now. Do you agree with me?
Amen.
Well, then let us pray. Lord, give us grateful hearts to serve our people in a spirit of generous and caring stewardship of all these blessings. Give us eyes to see the needs and vision to solve the problems and create opportunity. Give us wisdom to discern what is best from what might only sound good. May we be led to act with the gracious and good hearts like so many before us have shared with us. And may we always remember how truly rich we are with the blessings from heaven's bounty. With thankfulness we pray. Amen.
Amen. His reference to little crime reminds me of one time when I was taking my young son, who was about 4 years old, and we were delivering some corn to Mr. Kennedy, who then became an alderman and then the mayor. He was asking Michael, we were talking about the town and how good it was. And he says, well, why do you like living here, Michael? He says, there's no tornadoes, there's no hurricanes, and there's no robbers. So, that fits in well to what you said, Doctor. Thank you. Obviously, we will hear in just a few minutes from Mr. McMurray about the upcoming Sourwood Festival that will be coming this weekend. But I do want to go ahead and recognize one of the participants in the Spartan Super activity race competition that was this past weekend. Even though it was held over in the North Fork area, there was over 9,800 participants in this. And our own Josh Harold, on the back row there, participated in it. As Don Collins was saying, because he was over there, he was saying that there's like 9,800 uphill feet. Is that what you were?
That's correct.
They had to go as high as 4,100 feet. In the valley here, we're 2,200 feet. So not to mention the crawling under the barbed wire and moving tires and going through mud and It's quite a grueling process, but we want to congratulate Josh for doing that. He's still with us. All the limbs are still there. Very good. Man, we got what, proclamation awards?
And we don't have any tonight. Mayor,
Okay.
we'll go straight to citizen comments.
We'll just go straight to citizen comment. First on citizen comment will be Phil Besessi. I want to remind everybody that this is citizen comment. This is the time for citizens to come up and comment. It's not a time for any debate with the board, any dialogue with the board. We sit and we listen, and you have 3 minutes. Phil?
I'm Phil Besessi, 15 Highview Drive, and I'm speaking today on behalf of my participation in being instrumental in guiding the town of Black Mountain towards what they designated last year, and this year God willing, we will confirm that Black Mountain is an international city of peace, and we declare that to the whole world. Also that we proclaim the 21st of September as the International Day of Peace, where we should meet at Town Square at noon and read the proclamation that we are respecting the International Day of Peace. At that time, the church bells should be ringing all over town. So following that, we may work on things like a peace garden or document whatever we do to send it off to the international organization to prove we're a city of peace. So the documentation that we are a city of peace is an important function of what we will be doing as a town. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Next is Chris Sheehan.
3 minutes, I'll try to be brief. I didn't come to debate the board. I think all of you know why I'm here. For those of you that don't, I don't have time to get into the backstory. I came tonight to share my piece, because I believe that what has occurred with the decision that I feel was very unfortunate, which led to the invalidation of an amendment that was passed last month to the tattooing ordinance. I feel that I share the sentiments of all of you about Black Mountain being an amazing town, amazing place to live. That's why my family and I were drawn here. I also see that there is a healthy dose of discrimination and bias that is present within the town. And the reason I say that is because most of the folks that were upset at Cheshire about the announcement that I may be there never bothered to get to know me or what I was going to do. They made a decision based upon what they thought about tattoos and tattooed people. I have many accounts of people who heard these claims, these thoughts, these passionate invocations. Many of them were at the meeting for the conditional use permit that introduced themselves and said it's nothing personal, but it is personal. So I just would like to share that I think Black Mountain is an amazing town. I think it's an amazing place to live and to be and to raise a family. People so often share the sentiment, we don't want to be like Asheville. We don't want to have the nuisance element that we think is associated with that town. But the creativity, the diversity, the things that really cause a community to thrive, that Asheville does well, I believe also ought to be given the opportunity to be here. And I believe that as a person, as a community member, as a contributing being of this world, I ought to be given that opportunity and not be discriminated based upon the color of my skin or what I choose to do behind closed doors legally, which it's 2016. So it was highly disappointing that this happened and that the board wouldn't even put it on the agenda to help find a reasonable solution that I've been working over a year to try and come to a compromise. I didn't want to put neon signs in the middle of downtown and say, come, let's tattoo our kids. I don't want to do that. And I wanted to open a dialogue that said, I'm here to, work with what Black Mountain values and how we can work together. I know I'm getting on my 3 minutes, but I just want to address this for the community, for all who are watching, for you as board members. Is this the kind of precedent that you want to set for people that are different, that move here and are drawn to the image of Black Mountain that's projected? Because I wasn't raised here. I don't know everybody and all the values that are, predominant. But I do know that creativity and diversity ought to be something that are embraced if this town wants to grow in a positive direction. And I don't come to criticize, I don't come to debate, I just come to offer my piece because I feel like I was discriminated against and shut down, quite frankly. And it may be, views that some of you on the board had about people that are tattooed or tattooing in general. And I feel like no one got the opportunity to really get to know me or what I was about. And I went through a lengthy process with each step. I jumped through every hoop to try to make every effort to do that right. And still this has happened. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Chris. Next, I think it's Scott Gilchrist. Marilyn Sobanski.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to share about the Hard to Recycle event that's coming up. And we have hard to recycle collections that go throughout the county. There are 5 of them, north, east, southwest, and the central area. And any Buncombe County resident can go to any event. We just have them in different areas. We help organize this, initiate it, and to have them in different areas to make it easy for everybody. So luckily, this time it comes out to the east part of the county. It will be held Saturday, September 17th from 10 to 2, and that's at the parking lot in front of Madden, Ace Hardware, and Swannanoa. It's actually that little area between the bank and Ingalls Gas. The hard recycle collections are available for you to recycle, such things as electronics, metals, books, cardboard, styrofoam, used cooking oil, pens, markers, cosmetic containers, items that Habitat is interested in, animal sanctuary items, and these are a range of what can be done. It's a great opportunity to clear your garage, your basement, etc. But we, at these events, not every hard to recycle item is taken, only the select ones that are on the list. These lists I've put out today at the chamber, at the library. I will be posting them around town, and you can also get it from the Asheville Greenworks website or contacting us at info@rainbowrecycling.org. So take advantage of this opportunity and come on out with your recyclables. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. That does it for the citizens' comment. And again, this backs up exactly what Dr. Henderson said. This is quite an amazing community, especially when we have someone like Marilyn that has done this for years and years and years. So thank you, Marilyn. Okay, Matt.
Now you've got some communications from staff and then also from Bob McMurray from the chamber. So we'll start with Lieutenant Austin from the police department, who will give a presentation about a semi-annual report for the police department.
Good evening. Hope everybody's doing okay. I'll be try to be brief with this. We've had a pretty productive 6 months. So this is our semi-annual report from January through June of 2016. And we kind of compare this with 2015 as well, and there's a few slides later that you'll see where the comparison is. Okay, first of all, start out with we've had 12,895 calls for service. That's an increase from last year, January through June. It's about a 20% increase for service. We've had 139 incident reports that we've taken. We've had 382 citation charges, and that could be for speeding, driving while license revoked, drug possession, something like that. We've also had 262 total arrests, 548 charges. That's 548 separate criminal charges, and 20 driving while impaired charges. 20 drunk drivers we've taken off the street this last 6 months. No fatal car crashes in the last 6 months, which is great. So we've only had 10 personal injury crashes and 105 property damage crashes. So that's about normal with this time last year. So we're kind of staying on par with that one. Reportable crashes, that is. Drug violations. And again, some of these photos are some stuff that we've taken off the streets of Black Mountain. So we're up from 2015. We've had a pretty busy 6 months, last 6 months. But we've charged 146 misdemeanor drug crimes and 40 felony drug crimes.
Robert, heroin, are you seeing more heroin? I heard a report, I guess, from the Sheriff's Department just recently, and at least at countywide, that seems to be more. I was curious if that's what we're seeing too.
Well, countywide, yes, there's a lot more heroin and fentanyl. They're kind of mixing it to this real dangerous combination. Here in Black Mountain, we've not seen as much as they have, say, on some of our other neighbors, Asheville City and in Buncombe County. What we're seeing is more methamphetamine and marijuana. We're seeing a great deal of methamphetamine and marijuana. And again, this is a comparison with 2015. As you can see, there's a little bit of a change there. 40 drug charges in 2015, we've been able to get 186 charges this year. And we've done that by saturating some complaints that we've got in and really working proactively to try to clean up what some of the neighborhoods, some of the areas that are out there. Again, a comparison with 2015, citation charges to DWIs and also traffic reports are about, kind of on par, about the same. This past 6 months, we've done about 1,362 hours of training, and we do like our mandatory in-service training that we have to do. Then we'll practice our use of force trainings, decision-making training, and that's also radar enforcement, accident investigations, trying to keep our officers as current as possible, especially keeping up with the latest trends in law enforcement. Our reserve hours, our volunteers have saved us about $11,000, $11,000, yes, with working 670 hours of volunteering their time. They come out, they're residents in the community, they come out to volunteer their time to help supplement patrol officers. They work special events, education seminars, all kinds of stuff, and they train with us as well. Our reserve officers are certified as any other state police officer. They give back. They're volunteers. They give back to the community. We also conducted Operation Medicine Drop. We held it at Sunshine Pharmacy and collected 10,647 dosage units. That's pills, prescriptions, and for a 2-hour, I think it was a 2-hour period, 3-hour period, that was a great deal of medicine to be taken off that people were just giving away, saving from going into the streams, saving a lot of drug diversion and so forth. And we do that during Poison Prevention Week. We participated with the fire department on our Safety Saturday. Hopefully you guys came out to Safety Saturday. It's good, fun, education, spend a lot of time with the kids. We do some canine demonstrations and just try to make a good, positive role model for children. The breath alcohol testing mobiles in Black Mountain. We held a multi-agency DWI checkpoint back in May. We took 2 drunk drivers off of State Street in a 2-hour period. We also spend a lot of time with the kids. We open car doors for children. We read with the children, and we do this periodically. We do it quite often, actually. We have Officer Grays in the schools every day, and we will eat lunch with the children and so forth, just to kind of give them a better impression of law enforcement and let them know that they can come in and spend some time with us and talk with us and so forth. We are the 12th safest city in North Carolina for 2016. And that came out through SafeWise. I believe Chief Padgett touched on that at some point earlier in the year. Pretty proud of that. We've had some amazing community support. It's been kind of tough here lately. Things have been a little hectic, a lot of stuff in the news. Law enforcement's a demanding job. This community's been recognized, and they've come out with gifts, breakfast, food. They're bringing food. Kids are creating little cards. It's been really great. The community support here in Black Mountain's amazing. I've worked a lot of different places. I've worked at 3 different agencies. So far, this community has reached out to law enforcement in such a positive manner. It really means a lot to us. It's been a great, amazing community support. And on behalf of the police department, I'd like to say it's been an honor to serve this community. You guys are great. You've been supporting us very well. And thank you. Thank you, guys. Do you have any questions, sir?
You got any questions from the board? I've got just a couple things. Number one, I just want to reiterate this when you showed the slide being with the kids. I think that's, again, y'all have heard me say it before. I want to continue to reiterate it. You know, when you're with those children at such a young age, they obviously then get the impression that you're not the man that's out there to catch them. You're the man out there that can help them.
That's right.
And I think that is so important to start at such a young age, with letting them see that you're there for them,
Yes, sir.
not against them.
I agree with you 100% on that.
I talked to Chief Padgett. This was, I don't know, a couple of months ago when all the incidents were happening, you know, with the unfortunate murders. My question to him was, in trying to incapacitate a subject, that why don't they just shoot him in the leg? And he went through and he said that there was a 5-stage, when you were talking about your training, that there's basically 5 stages you go through that to determine exactly how much danger this person could be.
You would call it levels of force. Yeah, 5 different levels of force.
Could you explain that, please? Because I'm not, again, I heard it from him, and I have a fairly good idea, but I think it'd be good for the public to hear exactly what you're up against when these decisions and how these decisions have to be made.
A lot of things to consider. Things happen in a fraction of a second. You have to make decisions on a snap based on what most people can't. So you're looking at our first level of force is presence. Obviously, I'm dressed in a police uniform. My badge is showing. People know and can clearly recognize that I am a police officer, correct? Right. Next thing is verbal. If I tell you to stop, put your hands in the air, then I've given you a command. That's my next level. I'm telling you what to do. And that's when we start seeing, are we gaining compliance or not? Then the next level goes up from the tools that we wear on our belt. Let's face it, my back hurts every day. I wear a lot on my belt, okay? But I have all kinds of levels of force. I carry pepper spray, which is the next level. We call it like a chemical aerosol. Then we have our own hands, hard hands, soft hands. If we have to defend ourselves, then we'll do it with a level of that hands. Then we'll have impact weapons. We all carry some type of impact weapon on our belt. And then we also have our firearms, which is our last resort, which is the deadly force. And we always try to do that that is your last resort. It's a bad day if you have to do that all the way around. So we try to make all our decisions at the lowest level of force possible based on what that person or offender will allow us to do. And we make those decisions in a split second.
I just think it's good for us to understand that.
Hopefully
this is not an easy job. And when those situations come up, it's split-second decisions. So, anyway, we thank you for what you're doing. Appreciate it. Steve Jones, Chief of the Fire Department.
You told me 30 years ago I didn't walk up here and hear an iPad to talk to you, and I told you I was crazy. But it'll take me a minute. I'm not as technically advanced as some younger people. But it's good to be here. I honestly can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be. There we go. That wasn't too bad. This is We've just this year come on with a new reporting system that in 6 more months we'll be getting some really good accurate numbers. It's the first time since I can remember we're doing everything on one program. So hopefully the next report will have a lot more numbers to give you. In the city, we had, in 2015, we had 700 calls, and you can see here in 16 it's 683. We're about even on response for the total, 1050 last year and 1005 this year. So our normal response is it's about even. Our exposures, if you see there in 2016, they went up high, really high, and you would think compared to last year between January and June it'd be higher because of the Ridgecrest fire, but actually it's not. That's one building in Montreat that drove that number in 2016 up to the $15 million mark. So that's just one building. Was
that a conference center or a college building?
It was a Montreat Association, Assembly Inn. We had a fire in the kitchen, a dryer, dishwasher caught on fire, and that's what drove that number up. Property loss, now in 2015, that number is higher because of the Ridgecrest fire. There was a lot of properties involved, and a lot of properties lost, so that's why the number is higher. And in 16, $1,200 so far, so that's really good for our numbers to try to stay below the 10%. Inspections, the numbers in 15 are lower than they are in 16. That's because every 3 to 5 years there's more inspections that one year than there are the next 2 or 3. So a lot of businesses get hit in that one time. So that's why that number's so big difference there. And then residential is always low because nothing we do in a residence, we only do home inspections as a courtesy. They don't have to follow any of our fire codes in a residence unless it's a assisted living or one of those. Then hours of service, 2015 was up because of the Ridgecrest fire. I mean, that's all there is to it. But we're right on track there as well. Multiple calls, they were up last year. That too is because of the Ridgecrest fire. While that fire was going on, we had other calls, so that made them jump into the same category as multiple calls. But we are running about 30% of our calls are done more than one call at a time. We have had up to 5 calls going at one time, and that gets spread pretty thin. I think I've said it here before. When I'm the last one to go out the door, we're pretty thin. So, but I manage. Rob mentioned community service. We are fortunate to live in a town. I grew up in this town. That's why I've stayed here my whole life. I know how great this town is because I was born here. But the business-to-business guy, people came and provided a meal for the police and fire department to show their appreciation. And I don't remember the guy's name from Sweets on Cherry Street, but he started it, wanted to have about feeding us, and everybody knows police and fire like to eat. So we said yes. And then it grew into this big business-to-business thing, and actually they let us pick one charitable donation. They could write a check to an organization for charity, and of course I picked the Black Mountain Volunteer Firefighters Association because that money goes directly to help us and the town as well as they buy equipment. And I think Rob and them picked the Children's Home, the Black Mountain Home for Children, and they gave each of us an $800 check a piece. So that was really good and nice of them to do that. And they came and fed us, and it was a really nice gathering. And here's all the people sitting there looking at them, and we're doing a presentation, and there I am getting the volunteers check. So pretty cool. Everybody enjoying the meal. This is also our Safety Saturday picture. We always do a demonstration, texting and driving, shows what can happen. give kind of a real live scenario of how we do things. We come in, lights and siren, and all the kids and even the adults like to see that. Everybody likes to see red and blue lights and sirens, listen to sirens, so works pretty good. Y'all all know that this month we went to Buncombe County Dispatch. We were the only fire department left in Buncombe County that did not get dispatched through Buncombe County 911 and the Emergency Operating Center. And the reason why is we did our own dispatching, but due to limited resources and the lack of manpower and our DOI rating, our insurance rating, we decided to go with Buncombe County Dispatch. This is what our dispatch center looks like, and this is what our new dispatch center looks like. The guy sitting in the back takes your 911 call, and while you're talking to him, he's getting your information. He's pushing buttons on one of those 5 screens, sending your information to the person in front of him while they dispatch us. And in just the 3 weeks that we've been with them dispatching, we're getting the notifications of service 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes quicker. Our average response time from the time we were dispatched to on the scene in the city and in the rural district was 5 minutes and 2 seconds. We get 3 minutes to get out the door. That's what we shoot for DOI. So that's a pretty good response time, and a lot of that I contribute to the fact that we're getting our calls quicker. So it is taking some adjusting, but we're getting there. And I believe that's all I have.
Any comments from the board or any questions? Isn't it true that as strange as it may seem, that these calls, all the calls go to Lakeland, Florida, and then they come back up here?
When you dial 911, it goes somewhere in Florida and then comes back, yes. Hits a switch and comes back. I don't know where exactly in Florida.
I'd heard that several years ago.
I worked for 911 in 1989 when it first came to Buncombe County. It went to Florida then, and I used to go to Florida. But it gets there a lot quicker now, I'm sure.
2 minutes. You're again, to repeat that, just to clarify, you're getting 2 minutes. You picked up 2 minutes on response time.
1.5 to 2 minutes, yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. That makes a big difference.
We get a page on our phone when a call comes in, and before we would get our page and we'd have time to get in the truck to listen to the call, and now when we're getting the page after the call, so we got to get to the truck so we can hear where it's going.
Well, you mentioned the fact that it was moved because of resources and so forth, but the other side of that coin is the resources that are over there are quite incredible. As you mentioned, it's amazing.
They dispatch now. They dispatch every emergency services in Buncombe County.
Right.
Except for Black Mountain PD.
Yeah.
They do everybody else.
Yep.
Thank you again for the great job you do, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Chamber of Commerce, Bob McMurray.
How fast is your response time, Bob McMurray?
About 2 seconds. Very slow, and I still use paper. Sorry about that. So we are the little town that rocks, and this weekend we'll be rocking for our 39th anniversary of the Sourwood Festival. The festival showcased the town to approximately 30,000 people every year, and we have a special thanks to our volunteers, especially Jamie and his crew, the EMS, the police, and auxiliary do a fantastic job of the festival, keeping us safe, and we're always complimented on how organized and how clean our festival area is. Many of our local nonprofits, such as the Owen Band Boosters, depend on the festival to raise money for their local projects. Our chamber is led by a board of directors composed of 12 hardworking members. David Queen from White's Insurance is the president of the board this year, and we'd like to acknowledge Carlos and thank him for representing the town as the ex officio board member. The chamber has served the valley since 1923. Today, because of technology, the chamber is at the forefront of promoting our valley. The Chamber of Commerce website, exploreblackmountain.com, has an average of 800 to 1,000 visitors per day and 193,390 unique visitors for the year. Guests on the site can find everything they need from opening a business in the Swanville Valley to discovering places to eat, stay, or shop. They can also request a visitor guide online that will be mailed first class the next day. Information on the guide is also used for guests who are looking to relocate to our area. We print 15,000 guides, which I gave you a copy, and anybody can pick up a copy at the Visitor Center. And we print 50,000 maps. The maps are printed and distributed in regional visitor centers, local businesses, and placed in the 300 Mountain Information Center racks all over Western North Carolina. The past year, we completed a needed upgrade to our visitor center. The nearly 100-year-old water line finally quit, and we had to install new service and water line into the building. We also replaced all the bathroom fixtures, repainted the interior, and added some new furniture to our visitor center. The Chamber has over 40 volunteers who serve as hosts for the center. This past July, they welcomed 3,172 visitors to our center. From last July 15th to the end of June 2016, our visitor center served 26,000 guests seeking information about our town. There were also 193,390 unique visitors getting information on our website. We will have a new redesigned website up and running within a few days. It will be mobile optimized and viewed on all devices such as cell phone, tablets, and laptops. We at the Chamber spend a lot of time counseling folks that are going to move to the area to start a business. Our volunteers are a great resource to those experiences with visitors too. Some questions they might have are, how long have you lived in Black Mountain? What is it that you like about Black Mountain? Do you get lots of snow? What time of night do the leaves turn? I talk to a lot of people about starting a business also, and we have such resources as the resource guide, tell of existing businesses in the area that may have the same product or business they want to open, and we help find commercial real estate that is available. Our local marketing council, our Chamber Marketing Council, has worked hard to develop our brand, The Little Town That Rocks. This year we partnered with the Swananoa Valley Fine Art League and have 25 rockers with beautiful works of local artists that will be auctioned off sometime in October. People love to rock and shop downtown. The Chamber sponsors a number of networking and informative events. We have monthly business after hours at different business locations. They're great fun for door prizes, great food and drink. Our August event will be at the Kiwanis Thrift Shop. We also gather for breakfast at Red Rocker Inn for biscuits and business. We always have an informative guest speaker. We also host the beautification committee. We hosted the beautification committee for breakfast to thank them all that they do. Other activities of the Chamber involve we put on the annual Christmas parade, Rock the Taste, annual food tasting for restaurants, a weekly online newsletter that goes to over 1,500 internet readers. We represent the Chamber at the Blue Ridge Mountain Host, a regional marketing group. I attend the monthly Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority board meetings and their annual planning retreat. And we're also members of the National Heritage Area. We also sponsored a new app called You Go Tours that tells a story about the town and local businesses and how to navigate the area. You can download the free app on your smartphone. And I also attend the Western North Carolina Chamber Executives Committee. We meet twice a year with other area chambers, and I come back with a lot of valuable information. The Chamber would like to express our appreciation to the Board of Aldermen for your support over the years. Working together, we can achieve great accomplishments for our town. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
On the TDA that we have, with the proposal that's in, what's the latest on that, and what are the dates that they will possibly
You have, I think, until the end of this month to make the second presentation. The proposal passed the first round, and now it's sort of information gathering, support for the proposal, letter writing, and then they'll make another presentation. And then from that, they'll have a period of time to decide.
Okay. All right. So there's now, you said there's letter writing and there's information gathering.
The information will be made, yeah.
The information gathering originates in Asheville at TDA and then comes to where? It comes to you or comes to Matt?
No, it comes from, well, it doesn't come from Bob.
The town.
One comes from the town. You know, Montreat College also has an application that has to do with in the Oaks, which also is a valuable project. Ours, of course, is the Greenway. connector, and so we have until August 31st to submit our second level of that.
So we have to present more information.
Yeah, the second proposal. This is a large presentation.
Bob has been very helpful with, or has offered to provide, numbers of tourists that he just gave, and some marketing dollars and those sorts of things that they asked for in their application. So that's where we are now. So we made it through the town made it through the first round. Montreat made it through the first round too. Just although I would, I'd like everybody in the eastern part of the county to get money from TDA. So we made it through the first round of that. So now we're working on how many overnight stays can you anticipate from the expansion of a greenway.
Now, when that is done, that'll be given at the end of this. It has to be in by the end of this month.
Yeah, I think it's sometime.
August 31st. That's right. And then we'll do a
August
presentation in the fall.
So then, what happens then? They will then
Their board
whittle it
makes
down.
a recommendation for the ones that they're going to award a grant to.
Okay. So if
The
we get
TB
picked,
the
then
committee,
TDA, the TBTC
the
board,
Product Development Committee or
Yeah,
whatever it's
right.
called,
They make
makes
the
a
decision.
recommendation to the whole board.
to the full board.
so basically we're in the finals.
Right, that's right. We're in the finals, and then it'll be dependent on what the board decides who they award the final amount to.
Right.
Over the years, has the TDA board followed the recommendations pretty closely of the committee, to your recollection?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, they pretty much go by the recommendation of the subcommittee, you
Yeah.
call it, to the,
Yeah.
makes the decision.
Product development, isn't that it? Tourism
Yeah.
Product Development, isn't
Tourism
it?
Product Development Board,
Yeah.
yeah. They have about $2 million this year to distribute, and they had 12 or 15 final
Yeah.
groups, so.
And I don't know what the total amount that was requested. The town requested $1 million for our greenway expansion.
And it may come back, they say, well, we can't pay the
That's
whole
right.
$1 million, but we might help you fund this part of it, which, be good if they could do.
In the past, did they just pick projects where they fund completely, or do they pretty much go ahead and give 60% of this one, 40%, so that they do give something to?
They have not funded some of everybody's project. They usually give a few projects a lot of money, but they don't give any projects enough money to where they get all their money from that project. They like a project that's underway, like our greenways or the Montreat's field is already, have AstroTurf on it. Then they pay for a portion to help finish a project is kind of what they like to do. They won't pay for a complete project. They like a project that's underway. And it's real important, to bring heads and beds. That's the big thing, because it's to bring motel room nights to Buncombe County. So that's the big thing they have to prove.
We're asking for $1.5 million out of a project,
We're asking for $1 million from TDA.
for a project that could cost,
$2 million.
and Montreat College is asking for $350,000 for a project that's $700,000.
Right.
Isn't that right?
But they've already spent $1.1 million for the
Right.
field.
Right.
Okay, anybody else got any questions?
Thank you.
Comments? Thank you. All right, consent agenda, Matt.
You've got the adoption of minutes from the July 7th agenda workshop and the July 11th regular session. And we have a call for a public hearing to close a portion of an unopened platted right-of-way known as Ridgedale Avenue. We have you have that in your packet. That's all we have. We don't have any budget amendments or other public hearings, so.
Do I hear a motion,
Been much.
pass consent agenda?
So moved.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? We now have a second citizen comment. I don't think anyone signed up for it, did they, Angela? Okay. So we will don't have any unfinished business, we'll go to new business.
Yes, and your first item is a request to award the bid for a purchase of a custom fire pumper truck to KME in the amount of $481,000, if you'll recall. And I'm going to ask Chief Jones to step up briefly and kind of let you know what the difference is between a custom pumper truck and the commercial truck that we bought a couple of years ago. But I would remind everybody that we have, over the past few years, we have a capital reserve fund that is now totaled to $425,000. And when the balance of this, the cost of this truck will be due after July 1st of 2017, we'll be able to have added the additional amount. So there's no debt taken out for this truck. You all have saved the money over the last 3 or 4 years to make this purchase, and we have some options to reduce the price from $481 if you make a lump sum payment on the front end. So, but I would point out, and I will I'll look here briefly on. I would point out that the chief and his staff have done a good job of streamlining the cost of this truck. If you will look. The comparable pumper trucks in the area with clearly more amenities have been purchased by the city of Asheville at a cost of, and this is just the truck, this is not the equipment that goes on the truck, but this is just the cost of the truck. The city of Asheville bought a custom pumper truck at $548,125. The city of Kings Mountain bought a truck for $548,174. So we have made every effort to cut the cost of the truck down to what we need, which we don't want to shortchange ourselves, but to not make the truck more elaborate than it needs to be. And so I'm pleased to recommend the truck at $481,000. But I will ask the chief just to briefly tell us why that truck is better than the other truck that we bought a couple of years ago.
And I know you told me briefly, but I got to go into a little bit of background for the public, or they won't understand what I'm talking about, because you're going to hear words like adequate staffing and engine companies. It all boils down to our insurance rating. Black Mountain is a Class 4 rating in both districts, the city and the rural. We're graded on 3 areas: how we handle calls and fire alarms, and we fixed that problem by going to Buncombe County. We're going to get almost full credit, 9.98 out of 10, what we're going to get from them. And then there's a fire department part that includes staffing and engine companies and that kind of stuff. That's 50% of the grading. We scored a 27 on fire department. The third part is the water. That's Jamie. They're so good with the water system in Black Mountain, the fire department got gigged 4% because we weren't as good as the water department. So it's a divergence, what they call it. Anyway, a little background. When you talk about adequate staffing and engine companies, that's the number of people that we can safely put in an engine and transport to a fire, and en route they can put on all their personal protective equipment, their pants, their coats, their helmet, their SCBA, so when they get there they can come off a truck ready to go. In a commercial cab truck, that's hard to do because most of them are made to only seat 2 or 3 people without the room to carry all their gear to put it on. The truck we bought last time, we have to put our gear in a compartment, and when we get to a call, we get out and put it on. But we're not responding first out to a fire in that truck. That truck's coming next or later down the road. The commercial cab or the custom cabs are for first out engines. The DOI says that Black Mountain has 4 engine companies. The truck that we're replacing, we'd have to buy 2 commercial cab trucks to replace that 1 custom cab truck, just so we could get adequate staffing. 4 people in that one. If we had to buy I get the words confused, the commercial cab, we'd have to buy 2 to get the minimum number of people. So that's a little bit. Custom cab trucks, they have a higher crash rating and a rollover rating. They put 120,000 pounds on a custom cab truck without squashing it. They put it on the front of it, on the top of it, on the side of it, and it doesn't do anything. You go out and buy a commercial cab fire truck, they're only required to have a 16,000 pound rating. A little over, around 16,000, don't hold me to those numbers, but it's way less. So the crash rating on a custom cab truck is way better than a commercial cab truck. We can build a custom truck to Black Mountain specifications. We can make them, the wheelbase needs to be shorter, the cab over needs to be so we can have a better turning radius. They don't have to be as tall, we can keep them like under 10 feet. We can basically build them just for us. Angles of departures. Think about CVS. Everybody's been to CVS, and if you come through the red light there, that's a real steep jog up the road. Most trucks, if you ever notice, bottom out right there. That's the angle of departure. When we custom build a truck, we do 11 or 12% is what this new truck's going to be. The average is around 8 on a commercial truck. So we can build this truck to our specifications and to what we need in Black Mountain. We just can't go out and buy a stock truck that fits everything we need. But it basically turns down to safety and adequate staffing and manpower.
Very good.
That's all that I have, and thank you.
Yep, thank y'all.
Let everybody know what we're
It's been
dealing with.
a long time and we're ready.
Well, we've got a great fire department, we've got excellent volunteers, and we need to give them the best equipment we can. Do I hear a motion to award the contract to KME?
So moved.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Next is going to be award of solid waste to Waste Pro.
Yes,
Matt?
we currently we're served by Republic for our solid waste contract that ends at on October 1st. And we sent out for 2 requests for proposals, we sent out for requests for proposals. We received 2, one from Republic, one from Waste Pro. We talked with them, talked with staff, had some discussion. Feel like without much question that Waste Pro is our best opportunity to continue the quality of service the town provides to its residents without any additional fees outside of the taxes that they currently pay. You should have some information about the service they provide, and also I'll remind you that we currently pay somewhere around $12 a household for collection. The collection includes once a week garbage collection, every other week recycling collection, yard waste collection, and bulk item collection. And we've currently paid $12 a household per month, and their offer is at $15.04 per household per month. They are kind enough to be here, and so I would like for them to have an opportunity to speak and talk about the services they offer, the differences that might exist between the service that we have now and the services that they bring up. And I would introduce. And you want me to start with you, Robert? Is that the best way? Let me just start by introducing. Oh, I'm sorry,
Matt. Let me ask you just to clarify too for the public that the breakdown that we're talking, and you might want to break this down a little bit more, or Dean. But if you're doing 12 and currently 12 per household, is that collection and tipping fees?
It's not. I'm sorry. That's
clarify, if you would clarify that, and also just the general number of households.
Yes,
you probably have the specific number.
We have 4,080 households. I think that are a little over 41. Actually, we service a little over 4,100 households, but our last billing statement had it as right there around 4,080 households. So that's how that's how many households that are served by the town. The town, as the contract stands now and as it would stand in the future, we pay the tipping fees at the landfill. It runs about $132,000 a year. So we would continue to do it that way. These costs are the cost of collection, and I think in the RFP there may be some. They put a number next to disposal. That's basically getting it to the landfill. The town will continue to pay the cost of the landfill tipping fees, which are a cost for us, not a collection cost for the carrier. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, what you're really talking about is collection costs, recycling, the weekly collection costs,
yes,
recycling, and then we also currently in the 12 doing some brush and so forth.
Not some brush, a lot of brush, but yes, yard, yes, but I call but brush and white goods and bulk items collection. So the way this would stack up is the service provision would be the same as it is with the transition the same as you see now. There are different ways we can look at things. Now we can look at the 96-gallon cans. You see some people have those on their own, and we can look at pilot projects that look at those. That is not what we're talking about tonight. What we're talking about is continuing the collection the way it is, at the level of service as it is now. Right. And I'll call on. I'll start with Robert, and I'll have Robert Allen and introduce him. And
we're here just to field any questions you might have on Robert Allen, Director of Government Relations, Waste.
Would you please come on up to the podium, please?
Bring them all up, Robert. Yeah, bring the whole family up. I was going to ask at least, and I know that they were going to just speak briefly, but I was going to ask about how a transition would work, and let you all just kind of walk us through what a transition would look like for from one company to another company, to how we would do that, because I think that's a concern that we've had, and a concern that I'd want to hear how it would be.
Yeah, I'm Robert Allen, live at 2010 Courier Place, Indian Trail, North Carolina, just in case you need that part too. Director of Government Relations with Waste Pro, and Bob Tanoff is our Regional Vice President, and we'll introduce him, and he's ramrods this whole thing.
Or something like that. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Board of Aldermen, town staff. I appreciate this recommendation, and just wanted to give you a little bit of history very quickly, because I know your time is valuable on Waste Pro. We're a southeastern company, now doing business in 9 states. We recently moved into Arkansas. But the important thing is 60% or more of our revenue comes from municipal contracts such as this. We started in the business in 2001. We have 75 hauling locations spread around these states, and 215 municipal contracts, and hopefully after tonight 216. So this is what we do, and Chip will be addressing some of the transition stuff, but it's something that we're very familiar with, we're excited about, and we're set up for. Here locally, we've spent a lot of time, and we've put some significant resources into trying to move into the new technologies that exist. We're excited about those. In particular, all of our trucks are now equipped with what's known as the third eye camera, so they take pictures of everything they do. So if we have some instance where somebody says, you hit something, well, we can say yes or we can say no, but we know the answer to that because we can clearly understand that. It also helps if there's an issue going on in the town. Somebody from the staff wants to know, hey, what time your truck go down the street? We can visibly show them what happened. Our trucks are also equipped with what's called Air Track, which keeps a GPS trail on that truck, so we can tell you what time we go down every street. It's just another way of making sure that we have service verification. And we also would be offering Track Ease, which really gets you into the ability for your residents and your staff to send communications to us via the web, and then we can also have documentation that's very visible to both staff and ourselves as how quick do we respond, this happened, and when we close something out, all of that is available. So we're excited about this opportunity. I was, and again, I was just looking at $481,000 for a fire truck. So we're trying hard to get up there in the trash business, but we're still in the 290s, a little over $300,000 per truck. So we have some assets that we have to push through for this event, and that's really what drives the cost of these events. We spend a lot of time working on, in often cases, privatizations as well. And really, the offer we bring is there's 3 or 4 trucks that are running simultaneously in the town at one time. It's something if a town has to do on their own, that's a lot of money to spend up front and a lot of resources, not to mention the workers' comp and all the other expenses that go with it. So again, very much appreciate this recommendation. Look forward to doing business with the town. We're excited, and we're sure we will do what we're committed to do, and that is be the distinguishable difference and do whatever it takes to make it work for both of us. Thank you. Chip.
If we could, what I'd like is for Chip to kind of give us a brief discussion of how a transition would work, and then I know there's going to be questions, so then you all will just have to take your turn answering your questions.
Thank you, everyone. For the transition, it's really pretty simple for us. It's all about communication. We're really excited about it because, a lot of people on our team are familiar with Black Mountain. I think we have one person on staff that actually used to manage or supervise with our competitor in Black Mountain. So we're excited about that. how the transition would work is very simple. We get out, start riding around the community, making sure we understand the routes, looking for trouble spots, things like that, or places where we need to put smaller trucks. Just, you know, we're safety first. You see I have my vest still on. You know, we like to practice what we preach. So, like I said, we get out, ride the routes, and then we go back and communicate any changes that we see that we need to make the service for you very efficient and safe. Okay, so efficiency and safety is what we're looking to do. And then, as Bob mentioned, we also have the trackies where we'll be out training the staff and the community here in Black Mountain so that you can readily communicate with us, because communication is the key. And that's really the key things to our transition. It's just getting out, riding the routes, understanding your streets, your roadways, what trucks need to be where, and then making sure that there's a system in place for the citizens to be able to communicate with us.
And Matt, this is sort of a transition question, maybe for both of you, but remind me of the time frame for transition, well, to which we need to make a transition, and so what are we talking about?
Yes, October 1st, we will provide service with a different carrier.
So you got a month and a half to do transition and so forth, and to be ready to roll October, whatever the first pickup day is in October.
That's right. I mean, yeah, that's the end of our contract with Republic.
So we're excited, and we know that time is of the essence too. We're looking forward to being able to service the Black Mountain community. Yeah.
Now, you all currently do the county?
That is correct. We currently hold the Buncombe County contract.
And let's see, then that would be the city of Asheville.
No, we do not provide service with the city of Asheville.
Right.
Okay.
Anybody else got any questions? I've got several questions. Just looking at the proposal, I see here where it says disposal prices. Could you fill me in what exactly is a disposal price? You've got a collection price. I assume that's where the men get off the truck, goes to the house, picks up the garbage, puts it in the truck. Then we got a transportation cost, and that's for the truck to come out, pay for your truck. The truck goes to the landfill. But I'm trying to figure out what disposal prices are.
I'd have to go back and look at that, but that would be if we were to, as far as I know, that was the price for us to dump, right?
I don't understand that.
We pay the tipping fee, so that's built into your price. Is your price to get there.
Yeah, but so that's over and above the transportation price? That's what's confusing to me here, because we pay all the fees. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out. What's this disposal price cover?
From what we understood in this RFP, we'll have to talk about it again, is if we were paying part of the disposal cost.
Well, if that's going to be a reduction in disposal cost, then that's good for us, though.
So yeah, there will be a reduction in the rate to you if that's how it works out, and we'll build.
So this will then take the place of the tipping fees?
If what you're saying is the disposal prices are not built into it, then you, because we're going to pay the tipping fee. So if you take that disposal price out, 150, 104, then you're down. Then that reduces your total collection cost. Is that what you?
Correct.
Okay. Then that actually.
So we can say then that we're paying all the tipping fees.
That's right. Which we should keep it that way.
Which would end up being the fees for the trash. There is no fee on recycling, because the recycling centers take the recycling.
That varies. There is a fee currently at the recycling center.
And that fee is?
15? Is it?
Yeah, it's roughly around $15 per ton. It varies depending on.
For recycling?
Yes.
Huh.
Processing fee.
Yeah.
Now, it's something
That's what you have built
unusual.
into that table there.
It's something we need to discuss as well, because we feel like if we can get, we've been discussing this with Matt, if we can get it out of the blue bags and into bins where it's not, they don't have to unbag it that may make that tipping fee a little bit lower. We don't know. I mean, that's what we make the assumption, but, you know, again, it's something that is.
Well, I know that the city of Hendersonville takes theirs to Merv and Asheville, and they don't charge them anything. Of course, they do have the container. They have the recycling container. So, but a recycling container would certainly be a lot less money than paying $15, I would think, on that.
Mike, I just have a question for you, just so I can be on the same page. Are you on
No,
the
we're on-
disposal fee,
we're
or are you
on-
looking at this chart?
All three have disposal fees. As a matter of fact, all the disposal fees are all the same. The only difference comes up on a recycling for the bin, for the bin in there. You'll see that's higher.
Where are the disposal fees specifically built in there?
Right here, disposal fees.
Which one? Oh, right there, disposal prices, I got you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if the disposal prices are the cost, if the actual cost of the landfill tipping fees, if that's what that is, then our cost is $11.46 for service at the same level we have now. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Then that is less than what that is comparable to what you're paying today. Yes.
That's right.
If that's,
Good point.
That's a good point. Here's what. All right.
that would be good.
Here's what I would. Okay. Then here would be my suggestion, and I know that the mayor has done a lot of work to, and you probably got more questions, and I'm not trying to.
I mean,
That's a big one.
that's huge right there.
That's right. If these are the costs, here's my suggestion. Yes, I say we approve this, and you authorize the town manager to approve that number with a contract of 4 years, which is what the RFP said. With that being your number, I would request that now.
So moved.
Any discussion?
Matt, remind me of what we're paying right now.
Close to, yes, that around $12 a household for this exact level of service. This will be roughly a wash for you for your level of service.
So we're looking at an increase gradually over the 4 years.
Yes, and what they've been kind enough to agree to, and I'm not naive enough to know that the CPI the Consumer Price Index is generally what it increases by. I'm not naive enough to know that it may go down again, but they were kind enough to agree that if it did, that if the CPI, if the Consumer Price Index were to drop, that we would get an adjustment to our favor, which we don't have in our current contract, which is just basically that it always goes up. And if the Consumer Price Index did not go up, it would not go up. But you would not ever get a reduction, and they were kind enough to say that they would agree to adjust either way based on the Consumer Price Index. Now I know that we're at a point where that is it generally goes up marginally. I know that, but the mayor pointed out that if fuel costs were to be reduced or other energy costs were to be reduced, there could be a reduction in the Consumer Price Index, and we ought to get the benefit of that. And that should be built into a contract.
Just so I am correct though, so we understand what we're talking about. We're talking about collection, the disposal, the tipping fee at the landfill could still increase over the 5-year period. It's not associated. That's actually what the mayor's very valid and good comment. You break that out, that tipping fee can still increase. It's not. It's a separate.
Right.
It's a separate charge.
It's unrelated. It's unrelated to the cost of this contract. It is a separate fee based on what the county.
And we're really talking about the contract. Our collection costs pretty much remaining the same.
That's what.
So, Dean, if I'm correct with that, and actually we had anticipated in our budget discussions that that may not be the case, but that's good news for us budget-wise.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. Wonderful.
Great. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Very good, Mike.
I'm trying to figure. Oh, well. I'll take it. Public hearing, that's what we're doing.
No.
Public hearing here.
No, we're not, I'm sorry, we still have the language on there.
We got that.
That's just, we don't have a public hearing for tonight.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So now we got to get communication to staff?
Ron, you got it.
Nothing since the, yep. Matt?
No, sir, I don't have anything, Mr. Mayor. I do know that if you did want to, we had a closed session on Thursday night. If you want to call for a closed session to discuss legal matters, you obviously are always authorized to do that. I don't know that.
I don't think there's any need.
That
You would like to? Okay. I hear a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. Mayor, before you do that, just a comment for our comments. Just my personal thanks to Chief Jones, Rob, your work. We appreciate you being here, and Bob, you as well. We appreciate all everybody does in all their different capacities. What we do is, we're thankful for the opportunity to serve as well, but we've got a great staff, and I would also add appreciation to the mayor, Matt, Dean, for the extra effort, time spent on working through the numbers and focusing on the waste collection contract. So we appreciate that.
Any other comments?
Yes, sir.
All right, I know it may seem like I beat a dead horse sometimes, but I want to bring this up again. The fire truck that we're getting ready to buy, that we just approved, Steve Jones and I and the rest of this board started 4 years ago determining how we were going to set money aside and how he had another fire truck that we needed to buy. So we only financed that fire truck, paid a large amount of money down, financed it for 3 years, and were held off on purchasing this fire truck until this year. And when it gets here, guys, we're going with the capital reserve money that we put aside and the extra money that we'll have to put in general fund, we're going to pay cash for almost a $500,000 item in this town. We've been planning for it. We've been setting money aside, and I want to thank Matt and Dean and Steve for their making this happen.
Of course, no, everybody worked very hard, and we appreciate you all.
It's a good thing. Any other any other comments? Do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.